Hello, beautiful people. I just thought I would do this live to offer some energetic downloads for people regarding love. So I did do another live recently that explained theta healing. If you haven't seen that one already and you don't know what that is, it's basically a modality that allows you to change things within your subconscious mind, shift belief systems, bring in new information so that you can actually create something greater than what you've experienced before. So we tend to have a lot of different programs, limiting beliefs that we've taken on from our ancestors, that we've learned in childhood, we've taken on from the world around us, that actually stops us receiving something greater. And yet our mind thinks that it's protecting us or it's keeping us safe or we're learning from it. And so what we do in theta healing is, as a practitioner, what I can do is I can tap into people's energetic fields, tap into source energy, so the infinite intelligence all around us. When you're in a theta brainwave, it allows you to really connect to the universe, connect to your subconscious mind in a different way, and connect to other people. And so what I do is I tap into that source energy and I will channel different downloads, information that then I ask to get brought into your energetic fields. Now, it doesn't matter whether or not you're watching this live or not. It's actually the universe that brings it in. And so really I'm facilitating and witnessing something occurring, but time doesn't really exist. So it's happening whenever you're able to receive it. So all you have to do to be willing to receive it is say yes. But I wanted to basically focus on love today, because people tend to have a lot of different programs around love, and it really kind of, depending on what it is that you believe love to be, will determine what you're willing to receive. And so I wanted to kind of facilitate a untangling of some programs. So some of the things, like, we can consciously kind of have these different points of view about what we think, yet subconsciously within our mind, we can actually believe the opposite. Okay, so this is why it can sometimes be good to use kinesiology to test different things, because it will tell you what you actually believe is true, as opposed to what you think you believe is true from your conscious mind. So you can actually test whether or not you believe that you love yourself by, standing up, saying yes with your eyes closed. Usually you lean forward if you're hydrated, just slightly. Say no, usually you lean back. Again, you do have to be hydrated for it to really work. And then you can say, I love myself. And you may find you will move forward or back. So if you move forward, it means that you do believe that, or you do love yourself. If you lean back, it actually means that there's programs there that is limiting that self-love. Now, you may still love yourself to a certain degree. Sometimes you can believe two different conflicting things, but it may also mean that there's some programs there that need to shift. So sometimes that can be, when we don't love ourselves, it can be because we're holding on to different judgments, criticisms, belief systems based upon the way in which others have treated us, or what we've decided we haven't been able to create, or what it is that we think that we're not enough, or we've got these different programs around love, like I have to be perfect to be loved, which is like one of the biggest traps there is, because perfection doesn't really exist. It's just a way in which to perpetrate judgment on yourself, because you're always like having to judge whether or not you're perfect enough. So you never reach that state of perfection. And so then you never really truly love yourself. And so what I'll be doing with the downloads is kind of like bringing in energetically, or asking the universe to bring in for you. And if you're open to receiving it, you will. that you know how to love yourself without having to be perfect. Now, people will often have all sorts of different things entangled with the energy of love based upon what they've experienced in childhood. So if you grew up in a family that did a lot of control, like maybe you had a controlling parent, you know, no judgment, for whatever reason, that was their requirement. You may subconsciously believe that you can't be loved without being controlled, or love is control, right? And so then you can create this resistance to being loved by others because you think that they're going to control you. Or you may have had a parent that did a lot of like martyrdom and sacrifice. And so you may have a belief that love is actually sacrifice, and maybe then avoid getting into relationships because you don't want to end up sacrificing too much or giving up yourself. So there can be so many different things. Some people believe that love is judgment because they've, you know, had family members or they've had relationships where they've been judged a lot. And so they think that the two kind of like go hand in hand. And yet, what if that's actually the opposite of what love is? Because love is actually a very, like, the energy of unconditional love is actually a very nurturing, healing, expansive energy. Whereas judgment is actually a very contractive, separating energy that, you know, like if you direct it at plants, you'll find that the plants that you direct judgment at will often die a lot sooner than ones that you direct unconditional love at. So we're going to do some healing to shift these kinds of programs. So I'm just going to connect. Oops. I'm just going to hit the table first. I'm just going to connect just for a second. So I'm just going to tap into my own like connection and my own ability to access the theta brainwave, access the universe. And then I'm just going to ask for different things to be brought in based upon sources, perspective, understanding, and truth, okay? Or definition, because we often will have these different definitions that don't actually align with what source's definition is or source's truth is. And when we actually align those truths, it actually gives you like a lot of clarity and a lot more ease receiving different energies, okay? Now, if you'd like this, you just have to be open to receiving it. Say yes, think yes, allow the energy to come in. Some of you might actually feel a shift. Some of you may not sense anything. That's okay too. It doesn't mean that it's not occurring. Sometimes we can have all of these different programs around healing. We can think that it takes a certain amount of time, and so you might integrate it over like a day or two. Sometimes we can have different frequencies come in that we can't actually feel because they're a vibrational frequency that's kind of beyond what we're used to. Doesn't mean that it's not working. It just means that you're not necessarily perceiving things in the moment. But hopefully you will receive some change from this, or you will receive more ease. So I'm just going to tap in now. Just give me a second. And you are welcome to also just close your eyes and expand out beyond this planet into the universe. Just keep expanding out beyond, 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 beyond. Okay. Okay, so what I'd first like to invite you to receive from the universe is sources, perspective, understanding, truth, definition of what unconditional love is. And can we show you what it feels like for you to receive and be that? And the difference between that and whatever it is that your parents thought unconditional love was, or love was, okay? So let's show you how to actually love yourself and be loved without having to be controlled, without having to sacrifice yourself, without being judged, without being abused, without being invalidated, without being dismissed, demeaned, looked down on. And let's actually show you what it feels like for you to be loved and receive love and to love yourself without pain, okay? Without heartbreak, without hurt, without separation, without having to fight against love. Okay, so let's actually show you what it feels like for you to be loved by Source and to love yourself without having to put up walls around yourself in order to keep yourself safe, or around your heart in order to keep yourself safe. Okay, so everything that you are doing to protect yourself from being hurt, that's actually creating sabotage, or that's creating an inability to receive something greater, can we just ask Source Energy to bring in the truth as to what you're really doing and show you how to actually allow yourself to function from your awareness so that you can always know when you're safe and be vulnerable at the same time. So anywhere you've confused vulnerability with weakness, can we just bring in Source's truth about that as well and show you what it feels like for you to be able to be vulnerable without feeling like you are weak, without feeling helpless, without feeling powerless, and let's show you how to feel powerful and vulnerable at the same time. Okay, so let's also just show you what it feels like to experience love and to be loved, to love yourself without abandoning, rejecting, or betraying yourself, and also what it feels like to be loved by another without being abandoned, rejected, or betrayed. So any point in time anyone did any of that, or it felt like they were doing that to you, we're just going to bring in the truth of the situation from the higher perspective and show you what it feels like for you to receive that without you holding on to any judgments, conclusions, or expectations that it's going to happen again. Okay, so anywhere any of you guys are actually kind of like avoiding having your heart broken by allowing your heart to be broken, it's kind of like holding on to the old pain in order to avoid it happening again. Can we show you what it feels like for you to be able to transmute, transform, and heal any pain from any heartbreak without it meaning that you're then going to be brokenhearted again in the future? So anywhere anyone did break your heart, we're just going to show you the truth as to why that occurred and show you how to allow yourself to grow and expand beyond any relationship that has been painful without having to hold on to the pain, without having to hold on to the hurt, without having to hold on to the rejection, abandonment, or without having to withdraw or fight against greater possibilities in relationships. So let's also just show you what unconditional love is without neglect. So show you how to love yourself without neglecting yourself in order to learn, how to love your body and to be loving without neglecting your body, without hating yourself, without judging yourself, without resenting yourself, without being disgusted in yourself. Okay, cool. Okay, so let's also show you what it feels like for you to experience unconditional love and to be loved without cynicism. And show you that you can actually have the ability to be positive in life and to look for greater situations, make greater choices for yourself, and to head into it in a direction of expansion without holding on to any need to suffer or any resentment, grudges, or fight against yourself based upon anything you've chosen in the past or any way anybody has treated you in the past. So let's also show you what it feels like to be loved without being let down, without being disappointed. And that you know how to love yourself without being let down or disappointed. And we're also just going to bring in that you know what that feels like from the moment of conception, okay? Because what can occur sometimes is we can have all these different experiences and it actually kind of takes away our ability to feel loved. And so what we want to do is kind of like do this timeline healing where we bring in unconditional love from the moment of conception from the time that you're in the room. And we're just going to ask for that energy to be brought through your life so that you get to the current place that you are now with that feeling within your body and with that being part of your energetic field, okay? Or your energy. And we're just going to ask for anything that you are holding on to that is limiting that experience to be released. So there's a little bit of mistrust as well. So it's kind of like, can we show you how to trust yourself in love? So some people can have the programs that if they fall in love, they lose their power. Like they become, like they can't trust themselves, right? So let's actually show you guys that you know how to be in love and allow yourself to love without losing trust in yourself, without letting yourself down, or without giving yourself up for the other person. So anywhere any of you guys make the other person in relationships more important than you, can we show you how to acknowledge your own value, the gift that you are, without you having to be a slave or a sacrifice, or judge yourself in relationships in order to learn how? Okay, and anywhere you're making anybody else the source of love for you, just want to show you the truth about that and show you what it feels like for you to be your own source of love. Okay, so let's also just show you what it feels like for you to experience love, to have love, to be love, to love yourself, to be loved by others and the universe without cruelty. Okay, so there's some programs in some of you around cruelty. So let's just show you what it feels like to live without cruelty and to experience relationships without cruelty and to love without cruelty. Okay. And can we also just show you what it feels like for you to love yourself enough to let go of any grudges, resentments, or hatred or blame that you have in regards to any relationship you have in the past, okay? So let's show you how to love yourself enough to move on. And love yourself enough if you're in a relationship to allow the relationship to be expanding and growing in the current moment instead of staying stuck in some past experience in order to avoid something in the future. Okay, so let's also just show you what it feels like to love, to be loved, to have your heart open without the fear of loss and without holding on to grief. So sometimes we can have this resistance to really, truly loving people because we have like these places and spaces within our subconscious where we're holding on to the grief of losing either them from past lives or where we've lost other people, okay? So let's just bring in that you know how to release, let go of any grief with ease, any loss with ease, and show you the truth about loss, because depending on what kind of like space of kind of functioning that you're in, it's kind of like the loss is often like something that occurs in the physical plane, but energetically, beyond the lie of loss, there is no separation. So it's kind of like you can energetically connect with anyone at any point in time if you desire it. Okay, so just bring in the truth about all of that. Okay, and can we show you just that it's safe to receive all of this? Because in a sense, like sometimes we can have these kind of defense mechanisms in place to try and protect ourselves from being hurt or being taken over or invaded. But actually what I'm doing is really actually kind of like just being a witness of allowing you to have your own healing experience with the universe, okay? So it's not anything that's being done to you. It's your choice to receive it all. But if you allow yourself to have that, so much can kind of transform. So can we actually show you what it feels like for you to be able to trust the universe? And anytime you felt betrayed by it, let's just show you the truth about that also, and show you what it feels like for you to trust yourself and to follow your awareness without feeling betrayed by the universe, let down by the universe, or punished by the universe or God, or whatever word you want to use for that in order to learn. Okay. So I'm just going to ask for any of you that would like it. I'm just going to ask for a unconditional love healing to be brought into your energetic field. So just feel like your energetic fields up with that energy, so that you have the energy like within your body, within your being, to be able to change anything you require to change. Okay. And let's actually just bring in from Source's perspective that you know how to change things, allow things to change with ease, that you can change things without having to control everything, that you can keep yourself safe and thrive without having to control everything, that it's possible to allow growth no matter what age you are and no matter what experience you're currently having. And can we show you that it's safe to allow yourself to grow, and that it's safe to dive into the unknown? And that you can actually, let's just show you the difference between all of your emotional energies and you, and show you that you can actually let all of this go and still be you. And can we show you how to acknowledge the parts of you that you are that is beyond what you've acknowledged in this lifetime before, and allow them to integrate into your reality now? Okay, because our beings are so vast. We have so much awareness. We have so many different capacities that are beyond this world, but a lot of the time, like, we get programmed into this world based upon the belief structures that we have and based upon what other people believe. And we don't acknowledge a lot of what we're capable of. Okay, so even just asking that question, how much of my being is here and how much have I kind of like left somewhere else? And if I was to allow myself to access everything that I am, what could I acknowledge about myself, and how could I use that to create a greater life? Okay, so the more loving you are to you, the greater the life that you're living can be. Okay, because when you're not willing to love yourself, you will make the choices against yourself and not really thrive. So okay, so can we also just show you how to love yourself more than anyone else has loved you on this planet, okay? Because sometimes if you grew up with parents that didn't really know how to love from a healthy space because of whatever programming that they had and whatever experience they had with their parents, you may think that the way in which they treated you was love, but you may not know that there's something greater possible. So let's just show you what it feels like for you to love yourself more than anyone else on this planet. But can we show you more than what anyone else on this planet has, but can we show you how to actually do that without feeling like you're narcissistic, without feeling like you're selfish, or that you're some sort of egomaniac, okay? Because what can occur is we can have this resistance to truly loving ourselves because we've been taught that, you know, like it's that makes you conceited, that makes you selfish, that makes you, you know, like up yourself. But that's not actually true, okay? So can we actually bring into your energetic fields that you know the difference between being narcissistic and loving? When you're truly loving to yourself, it actually creates this space where you can be like really vulnerable in the world and not have any resistance to allowing others to be close to you. And that's actually the opposite of what narcissism is, because narcissistic people will have these barriers up and these defense mechanisms designed to kind of control the people in their life so that they get what they need from that person, while at the same time not allowing those people into their world enough, because they can't trust that person, because they don't often kind of like trust anyone other than themselves. And so being truly loving to you is something completely different. It's not narcissistic. It's not egotistical. It's something that will contribute to not just you, but to anyone else in your life. Because when you're willing to be that for you, you can then be it for other people. And they may not all the time receive it. Sometimes they'll go into resistance of that. Sometimes they might try and create a bit of separation depending on kind of like what they've experienced, what they're willing to receive. But it does allow you to be an invitation for something more. And energetically, we are also connected, and we can, we do tend to learn from each other's energetic fields a lot of the time. And by having kind of like this energetic exchange with each other a lot of the time. So you are a huge gift to others when you allow yourself to love yourself. Okay, I know that, maybe that's like something you already know, maybe it's not, but can we just also just bring in that you know what it feels like to acknowledge the gift that you are on this planet to others and to yourself and to this planet, without you going into judgment, without you going into resistance, and without you having to fight against it in order to be normal or fit in or belong. So any like level of love that you have that is based upon what other people around you are willing to be, can we show you how to be willing to be the energy of love that is beyond all of that, and that it's safe to? Okay, cool. All right. Thank you guys. I hope this has contributed to you. I can't see if there's any messages. But thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. I hope that you receive something from this. Sometimes it does take a few days for things to shift. You may have sometimes you'll just like have more lightness, and other times you might have different energies kind of emerge just as you kind of transition through whatever was in your subconscious that was limiting the loving energy that you are. So I hope that it does contribute, that you do allow things to shift, and that you do be more loving to you. If you have anything that you would like me to do more downloads around, like a particular topic, you're welcome to leave comments for me. I want to start doing these weekly at least. And thank you. And and if you would like to learn more about this technique, I do teach Theta healing classes. I've got one coming up in Melbourne in December, and I've also got one coming up online in January. So you're more than welcome. I'll leave a link below this video if you want more information about that. Thanks for being here, guys. I appreciate you. Till next time. Bye.